Power Pro Wrestling. Power Pro Wrestling. Power Pro Wrestling. The Power Hour.
On the road again. I couldn't wait to be on the road again. I couldn't wait to go to wrestling again. Hello again, everybody. It's Randy Hales, and welcome to the Power Hour as we do a watch along, as we do every Monday night with Power Pro Wrestling. You know, I love music. I love music for sure. Going up and down the roads, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of miles. We used to have them jam, whether it's Hank Williams Jr., didn't matter who it was. I love music. You know, I may be getting old, but I'm still against the wind. I just love music. I love talking about wrestling. I love talking about wrestling, going on road trips, and I was thrilled to death this past weekend. 2 nights. I'll start with the Saturday night. Saturday night, I was at APW Wrestling in Marianna, Arkansas. Enjoyed that. And Friday night, the boys were back together again. The band was back together again as I was at an event where one of the feature matches of the night for the first time. First saw him in 1983 in the Power Pro Arena in Ripley, Tennessee. I was able to hang out all night long with Rick Morton, Robert Gibson, the world famous Rock and Roll Express, now in their farewell tour all over the country, all over the world. And it was just absolutely fantastic to see the Rock and Roll Express. Man, before we get to talking about what we're going to do today, a quick little plug. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Central Standard Time, it's Talking Memphis Wrestling Live, and we have a subject. And you know, I got that subject by listening to music. You know, sometimes music gives me ideas. Used to back in the day, and Talking Memphis Wrestling, I was trying to think of a subject, and I heard that song, Get the Wind, I'm Old, but I'm still against the wind. Gave me idea for the show for Tuesday night. Gone, but not forgotten. And we will talk about the great wrestlers and wrestling business personality that are gone, but we certainly hadn't forgotten them. And I will give a lot of personal stories there. My panel, the wrestlers that they have memories of that's gone. And we will post links on Twitter and Facebooks and also on this show live, that at the end of the show tomorrow, you can certainly check us on all our social media. At the end of the show tomorrow, we will open the lines up, and then I will follow-ups to our conversation as Adam has put in that social media deal. And I wanna bring him in now. I don't want to delay it. I don't want to waste any more time, but I do want to say this is the last time probably you're going to see Adam Dunn in this particular setting, this particular set. It will probably be, there's a lot more work to do. He's got a hell of a setup. He's working on it. He is going to have his own hippie studio. I'll let you explain that to him. A hippie studio. I don't know. It'll be like Cheech and Chong. As far as I know, Adam hadn't smoked pot in his life. So certainly I doubt that happens, but it's going to be a party bus. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a new look. That you're going to have this look on my end, and you're going to have another look. And it's so excited as we are fired up, and we're making this the best Memphis wrestling, whatever you say, podcast, video cast, talk show. We want to be the best. We want to look the best. Certainly, we have the best producer, as in Adam Dunn of anything. I was excited about that. Adam, first of all, give them a little bit about what you're working on, man, and how it came to be.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm working on currently at the moment is I've got an old radio station van that I've taken possession of, and so I'm building out the my desk and everything in there, and I'm going to get some lights and some sound dampening and things like that, and hopefully kind of almost make it like a little man cave type thing, but just to have it also as a place to where you're not seeing the living room and everything behind me, and just my quote unquote set on my end in the past really hasn't been the greatest. So I'm just trying to get a little something to where I can kind of have my own space. I can kind of work out of it and have just a place for me to kind of have a Power Pro Memphis Wrestling little studio there. I used to have a production truck back in the day and actually did some Memphis Wrestling stuff years and years and years ago. Always wanted to get me another one set up and have the opportunity. So that's what I'll be doing, Randy, is hopefully here next week, if I can get the internet out there to it and everything working right, that is when I plan on being able to debut that new look.
Let's make this clear. You came in possession is the word you used. You absolutely, I don't want anybody calling 911. You absolutely 100%. You didn't go out in the backwoods. You did not steal that bus, correct? You need to smarten people
Correct,
up.
correct.
You took
Yeah, no,
possession, but not in any illegal means
no,
whatsoever.
no, not at all.
That's good.
Not at all.
I wanted to make that clear.
Okay.
Before I want you to do the preview to get right into this show, you know what I like at this point of the show. Anybody that said hello, anybody that's cussed us, anybody that's had comments, why don't you read that to us?
Yeah, sure. So Andrew Calvin says, "Hey Randy, the owner, founder,
Founder
president."
president.
Yep, he's saying how y'all doing. Panetta says hello. Richard
Yay.
Hood says, "What's up, Randy?" Our buddy
Who?
Al. Richard Hood says, "What's
Ask
up,
Al
Randy?"
if ask Al to tell us if he's on YouTube.
Al is on YouTube.
Yay, we're back. We're
Yep,
back.
yep,
Yay.
yep. Al is on YouTube. He says, "Hello, Randy, Adam, and everyone." Michael Cummings, I believe, says, "Hey, Randy,"
Hey,
and
Mike.
Andrew Calvin says hello to me as well. So we appreciate that. So yeah, Randy, if you want to, I can go ahead and run down what we're going to have on the show today.
All right, let's
So
do it.
all right. So what we've got coming up for you on today's program, this is show number 13, July 11th, 1998. Of course, we're going to start by taking a look at some clips of the Rumble on the River that we showed last week, where we had our special co-host Brandon Baxter along with us. We'll get an interview with Randy Hales and an interview from Streak. You saw Streak last week pouring the red, white, and blue paint on Brandon Baxter. We'll see Streak in action going against Tony Falk. We'll get an interview with Brian Christopher, which brings out Kid Wicked. Moondog Spot will be in the studio, and Superstar Bill Dundee. They'll be going against Billy Joe Travis and Bulldog Reigns. Brandon will introduce us to a new wrestler, Heinrich Franz Keller, and you'll see him take on Swole, the Birdman. Coco Beware will be in action against Lance Jade. You'll see Kid Wicked going against Brian Christopher, and we'll have some chaos at the end of the show involving the King. So a lot of good stuff coming up today, Randy.
Hey, one of the things that I had on my notes that I wanted to talk to you about real quick, I was so fired up and so excited. I get fired up and excited about every single show we do. I'm so fired up about tomorrow's show. I'm fired up about today's show, but man, that show last Monday, I just felt it started in 1995 when I first hired Brandon Baxter in 1995 for the USWA. And, we see each other every once in a while when I'm at the radio station, and there's a picture of him and his current co-host of his radio show, Brandon Baxter in the Morning, Kelly Perry, but Brandon was on the show. I wanted to ask you, Adam, just real quick. We was with us for 2 hours. Was there any particular story that you really liked? Any particular viewpoint that he had that you didn't know or interested in? Just before we get into this video, just I want to encourage everybody to go back to my timeline, whether it's on Facebook, on Twitter, and I don't know if it's possible, but I would like to somehow or another be able to get that show on YouTube where people could see it on YouTube. It's just there, not live, obviously. But just comments about that Brandon Baxter interview last week.
Yeah, I would say my favorite was learning the story of Randy Hales choke slamming someone through a table. That was fun to hear. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Did that shock you? I can't believe I haven't told you that
No,
story. That's one of my favorite stories of all stories. I always got stories. I like talking about stories. Always have a story to tell. And you and I have talked thousands of hours on air, off air, all kinds of things. And that's one of my favorite stories of all time where I choke slammed that guy, the son of a gun, that no
where was
good
that?
son of
Was
a
it in
gun
Truman,
coach I was talking
Arkansas?
about. Do what?
Where was it at? Was it in Truman, Arkansas? Is that where it was at?
It was in Truman, Arkansas,
Yeah,
at Jerry's Steak Restaurant. So it
yeah.
was the day, and I can't remember the year. Brandon would get mad at me, but it was the day before he got married, and uh, it was so he got married on New Year's Eve. So it was the day before New Year's Eve, and it was on a Friday night, and then the wedding was on Saturday. That guy, though, and then Brandon admitted he stirred him up, and
Mhm.
Brandon knew what would happen because
Right.
I don't think Brandon knew the guy would stand up, and I didn't tell this story. You'll like this. This is funny. So he said something like stand up. So I was wearing an overcoat and the whole thing, but if you're about to get in a fight, you don't need a big gold overcoat on you. So as I was standing up, the first thing I did is that I just dropped the coat. I took it off and let it go down uh, to the ground, and I am getting a call. Sorry about that. My niece Cindy, but I'm not trying to go down to the ground. And finally, now the guy was being obnoxious, and you ain't nothing, and wrestling's fake, and you're fake, and this and that. I don't know why these guys are laughing at your stories. It's fake, it's fake, it's fake. And he was yelling it in front of the people, and 90% of the people, because just like 3 or 4 years after Power Pro, everybody in that building knew who I was, and he's yelling, "You're a fake," and wrestling's a fake. And that was in a time period where I knew exactly what I was going to happen. And one thing I don't know if Brandon remembers or not, but I say to Brandon, I said, you know what, at this point, what I got to do. Just said it as the guy was yelling, and I don't know if it's cussing, but he was drunk. But I said, you know what got to do, and he just said, do what you have to
Just go
do.
ahead.
And then it was like it was uh, a angle. So he pushes me, not real hard, just like that, right?
Yeah.
And then he turned his back to me, turned his back to me, and posed to Brandon and Brandon's brother-in-law and everybody there and smiling and all that. Set it up perfectly. Wouldn't at all took his eyes away from me, right? Totally turned his back on me. And that made me mad. I'm thinking this goofy son of a gun don't know what he's dealing with here. And I'm thinking in my head and all the people watching, I said, I got to hurt this guy.
All right.
There's no doubt I've got to hurt this guy. And so he turned right around perfectly. And as soon as he turned around, his throat right there. And I just right to the throat hard. Just boom. And just the adrenaline in me, I picked him up. I've seen him lately, and he's fat now and big. I probably couldn't pick him up, and I'm weak compared to where I was. But I picked him up, slammed him on that table, and it, like Brandon said, it didn't break, but it tipped over and everybody started running over and somebody saying should we call the cops and Brandon doing peace and all that. And he said he Booger was his name and he
Yeah.
got up like laughing, I think embarrassing laughing, if that
Right.
makes
Right.
sense. But that's a fun story. Before we go in to our video, why don't you catch us up on any additional comments if we have any?
Here we got some additional ones. Richard Hood says Reggie B. Fine was his favorite. Randy
Good.
West says hello to
Oh, my
both of
man,
us.
my man, my
Yeah.
man, Randy. I love Randy. I'm gonna go
Richard
see
Hood.
Randy in August.
Okay. Good deal. Richard Hood says he doesn't like the fake word either, and there's nothing fake about pro wrestling. Al said
Absolutely.
a Undertaker choke slam from Randy. And Jeremy Gibson says, hello, Randy and Adam, everyone watching from Evansville, Indiana.
Who's watching from Evansville?
Jeremy Gibson.
Yeah, Jeremy Gibson. All right. So, what time is it now? Central Standard Time.
Let's see. WMC news time is 7:16.
7:16. We did a 16-minute open, and that's okay because I had fun doing it. We're telling you about the party bus that's not going to be Cheech and Chong. This is going to be a fun show. By the way, Randy, I texted you. You didn't text me back. I was checking on you, man. I was checking on you. Show number 13, Power Pro Wrestling, July the 11th, 1998. And here we go.
Hello again, everybody. Dave Brown and Corey Macklin here at ringside, ready to go with another Power Hour. TV5 Power Pro Wrestling live from the studios of WMC TV5 in Memphis. Corey, big one today.
Boy, are we ready for it today, buddy. Hey, want to thank all of the fans for a huge turnout at Tom Lee Park. Big success. Biggest crowd ever at the Star Spangled Celebration. Thanks to everyone at home, the viewers, and all of our Power Pro Wrestling fans.
Oh, the Rumble on the River.
Oh,
They're getting
yeah.
cards, letters, emails. Streak won the Rumble and all of that big confrontation with the Giant King. Lawler showed up.
Oh,
For that.
yeah.
A lot of folks have said, what happened? Show us what happened. All right, you can't show you all of it. Here's a little recap, though, of the Rumble on the River.
Oh, yeah. Rumble on the River.
That's so impressive of a video. It really is, Adam.
Oh, yeah. Our good buddy James Estes put it all together.
Yes.
Go ahead and look at me, because here it goes. I'd like to lead you to the flag United States Americans who represent for champ. When his son got indivisible with liberty and justice for all. How is that? How I feel about TV5. How I feel about you, about Power Pro Wrestling. In 2 words. Hey, you're not going to do that out of here.
If that isn't the shot right there, when he turns around,
Yeah.
all covered in
Excellent.
paint.
City of Memphis, Tennessee. He knew he couldn't cut it anymore. He knew that he wasn't the king anymore. And Memphis wrestling is not Memphis wrestling without
I like how heel bad Randy's in black and white.
future.
Yeah, he did such a good job.
This man is better. The new
So this is a
king
follow-up
of
show
wrestling,
to the Rumble on the River.
King.
You like the slow motion?
In this case, yes, most definitely, because everything is connecting and looks fantastic. I love that there, Coco throwing the dirt in Dundee's face.
Yeah, that sneaky heel he is. Bulldog Reigns, meet Tony Clark.
I don't think anything got more heat than that right there.
It's
No one's
just
taking it
something
down.
simple. Something simple.
You're a coward, Lawler. You're a coward, man. Face him.
I just love that shot.
There's only been 2 kings in Memphis. Elvis Presley's one of them, and you're looking at the other one. You think that's
Don't you love that line?
Oh yeah, hell, the crowd about blows the mic out over it.
Hey Rod, how you doing, buddy? Hope everything's good. Richard is saying hello to Randy West.
On the river. We thank you, Mid-South, for making it a huge success for us. I see Randy Hales walking
Love
this
it
way.
that Al is in the house.
Talk to him a moment, Dave.
Big confrontation with him and Lawler.
Hey, look, the live logo that we currently use just made its debut.
Yeah.
Randy, I want to say something to you that
Was that the debut?
I've told you at the office.
I don't think I've ever seen it before that.
But I'm gonna
I
say
could be
this
wrong,
public
though.
here
Cool.
today, that what's going on with you and Lawler? I'll tell you, Randy, I'm really concerned.
I don't
with
wonder
the
why
whole
this is
entire
back in
situation.
1998. My
You know,
hair
first
is
of all,
jet
I
black,
think people don't
and it's not
realize
so
that
black
Jerry
now.
Lawler
There's some
is
gray in
absolutely
there.
the
What
most
the heck happened?
egotistical human being I have ever
Yeah, I've got
seen
some gray
in my
in
life.
mine now,
Now,
too.
people, what Jerry Lawler has done, not only his whole career, but his whole life, is brainwashed and manipulated people to believing in everything he says and believing everything he does. And Corey, apparently, you, just like the whole city of Memphis, have bought into the situation, but I'm the only person around that can't be brainwashed and can't be manipulated by Jerry Lawler. Now just let me, I don't want to argue with you, Corey, but I would just like to go ahead and say Jerry Lawler did it himself a few weeks ago. He came out on this television and said it was time to hang it up. Is that right? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Jerry Lawler said that himself. I came out, made a big deal. Big search nationwide, crowned the new king. And because Jerry Lawler not only is the most egotistical person in the world, Jerry Lawler is also the most jealous person in the world. He was so jealous, he had to drive down there. He tried to come in and bust that party up. He had his, Stacy attacked me, absolutely attacked me. I should have had her arrested, but I didn't. So that was the situation that took place at the Rumble on the River. Well, let me tell you something right
You know,
now.
I didn't
This is
really
all
watch
I will
back.
say
I might
right
watch
here
back
now.
the TV when I
called
got
Jerry
home
Lawler.
and then
I left
not
2
watch
minutes
it
to Jerry
again.
Lawler
This is the
and
first time
demanded that he come
I've
to
seen
this
that promo
TV
in a
video
long
today
time.
because in front
I
of
wonder
Memphis,
what
in front
Randy
of
West
everybody
thinks
here,
about the
I
Randy Hales
will
promo
confront Jerry Lawler.
from
I
back
will
in the
tell
day,
Jerry Lawler
July the
exactly
11th,
what I think
1998.
of him, and if it has to be settled physically, I am prepared.
Oh, come on, Randy. Now, you don't want to get involved in that kind of stuff. Not against Jerry Lawler. What did you think? What in the world did you think?
I have demanded that Jerry Lawler come here today. He should be here. I'm waiting for him, and I will be right out here quick.
I just want to know who's wearing the troll mask in the audience.
No telling.
Going to turn into a nightmare.
What did you think of that
I'm
promo?
afraid so. Tell you what, we got a great power hour coming up.
Sounds like a follow-up to a hell of a show, and you're keeping it going.
Just a moment.
Roger Calvert says 24 years is why Randy Hales. He basically is saying I'm getting old. This is great stuff. This is great stuff. By the way, we saw some dogs, Adam, and I've forgotten my open. Are we saving? I guess I can save the dog pictures, folks. we have a big scoop about the dogs that live here with me. A big scoop, Adam. How did you let me forget that, man? There you go. All right. The bigger one's Hank. The other one's Hercules. It's you can go to my timeline on Twitter or my Facebook, and Hank and Hercules is going to be part of a fundraiser for the Humane Society of Northeast Arkansas. That's coming up through the 15th. And so just click on that link and help old Hank and Hercules out. Hank and Hercules might be around tomorrow night. They're out of town, but they might be around my show tomorrow night. And we're going to talk to about them on the radio show Wednesday. A lot going on. So be sure to click the link on my social media. You met Hank, but you haven't met Hercules because Hercules hadn't been born yet, Adam.
Yeah, correct. I met him last year, so maybe I'll meet them both this year.
Yes, and also they have a cat. The dogs have a cat buddy or a kitten. His name is Theo. About my interview, he said, I liked how you didn't yell. You just calmly made your point. And, there's times for calmly making your point, and there's some times that you need to yell. And I'm sure that I have yelled plenty of times, and maybe I'll yell some more, some on this show. And that was just the first, the, the art of the show basically was I want to have a confrontation with Lawler, and I'll even handle it physically. Well, that won't work out too well. And I actually do remember, even though it's been 24 years ago, I remember what happened. So if you guys, Panetta, who loves Lawler, she will be so excited and so happy what will happen to me later in the show today. Back
about that in just a few minutes. Got a great power hour
to
for you here
Corey
today.
and
In the
Dunn.
ring right now, Tony Falk headed this way. It'll be the Streak, his scheduled opponent here today. Boy, the Streak won the Rumble on the River, the big free-for-all battle royal that went on down there. He got the win. He also came out with the paint for Brandon Baxter. Painted him.
Now, eventually, that graphic with the weight and years pro and all that, eventually that went away, correct?
We'll talk to you.
Yeah, I want to say it went away when James went away. As a matter of fact, most of the
I
graphics went
watched
away
that battle royal
when James
about 10
went away.
times. I phoned it, I rewound it, and I watched it 10 times. Not because I won it. Because 4 weeks ago, when I knew I was going to be in that battle royal, I knew I was going to take it. But what I couldn't understand was how many times you two guys call me the spellbinder.
Panetta likes when I rant on this show.
I asked you.
I'm pretty
last
calm
week
tonight,
and the
Adam.
week before,
Everything's been going
not
good, hasn't it?
to call me the spellbinder.
So far, so good.
As far as I'm concerned, a few weeks ago, you found a few guys in the back lane, beat up, with a stripe on their back. Well, let me ask you a question. Who do you think did it?
I think now we know.
So if I hear my name called the spellbinder again, the both of you will end up beat up. with a
Richard
stripe on your
Hood
back.
says, "Oh,
We're
pork
going to have
chop
any of that.
cash with
Come
the
on,
man."
get out of here.
He
Now,
made a.
Well,
He
we see
showed
what,
up, and I
last few weeks
talked to
been
him at the AEW show a couple of years ago, as a
the way
matter
this
of
guy's
fact.
been acting.
Tony Falk,
Yeah, I remember that. We
spellbind,
would take cameras out in the hallway,
opening
and there would be a
action
guy laying there
on
with
show
a
number
white
13
streak or a yellow
of
streak painted
Power
up his
Pro
back.
Wrestling.
We
Appreciate
didn't know what was we
everybody
didn't know, of course, we were out here doing
watching
the
the
show.
show
Who was doing
today,
it?
and we
I
have
too
a
was doing
good,
it right
strong,
there.
powerful
And
show
then,
tomorrow night. I really
I mean,
want
we
you
had known him by
to
that
listen to
name for years.
That's all I've known him about for the past,
Whatever.
15 years. Yeah, look at that.
And now all of a sudden he wants to be Streak.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's in action here against Tony Falk today.
Yeah.
Don't forget, this is not all. Got a big tag team match after this. Billy Joe Travis will be teamed with Bulldog Reigns. Bulldog was in that Rumble on the River a long time, too. And they'll be going against the superstar, Bill Dundee and Moondog Spot.
That's
wow, what
coming
a
up.
pair.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, don't forget Malice in the Palace. The 21st. Come him. Tickets now at Ticketmaster and all
Ticketmaster outlet 10.
This is unusual for Tony, isn't it?
Challenge to decide who is the king. Oh, Falk.
Man, can you believe that, Adam?
Takes on a big giant at the Coliseum. And the WWF
Very unusual.
title when The Rock.
Absolutely.
Comes to Memphis July 21st. Defends against Too Sexy Brian Christopher Day. Whoa, what a powerful move that. Tony Falk thought he had things going his way, but he does not now. As a matter of fact, it's over.
You know, that finishing hold I didn't think looked real vicious, did you?
Not particularly, no.
Trying something new, and that's good. Here comes the thing. I want to remind you, as Spellbinder doing some work for sure, as we see Greg White's deal. Shout out to Randy West tomorrow. Gone but not forgotten, and we have information, and we will talk about people I had personal relationships with that will never to the day I die will forget. Billy Travis, Brian Christopher, Eddie Gilbert, Lance Russell, Jackie Fargo, Tojo, and Eddie Marlin. We do have video, including a video with Eddie Marlin in the ring in a six-man tag, also in the ring with him. Lou Thez, Jerry Lawler, Sam Bass, and his partners, Rick Gibson, and also Tommy Gilbert. So a big show that everybody needs to watch. We've got some interesting videos, some funny videos, some rib, a story about a rib, just cool stuff on the show tomorrow night at 7. Al, Panetta, Randy West, everybody watching tonight, need to tomorrow as we listen to Brian Christopher.
I think so. The Intercontinental Championships on the line.
Well, Dave, before I talk specifically about the match, I want to talk about wrestling in general. Everybody knows that professional wrestling right now is at its peak. It is hotter than it's ever been before. And these people know it, and everybody around the country knows it. Now, the WWF that I'm under contract with, they're doing record-setting business all over the country, all over the United States and Canada. Every arena that we go to is sold out. And Ted Turner's group down there, the WCW, everybody knows they're doing okay, too. But what I want to talk about is just 3 months in existence, Power Pro Wrestling. I'm amazed at this company right here and the success that they've had.
Come a long way in a short time. You're right.
Yes, the TV ratings have been great. The fans coming out to the buildings have been great. And I'm proud to be part of it. Now, you said I got a big match against Rocky Maivia coming up for the Intercontinental Heavyweight title. And ever since I've put on a pair of wrestling boots, put on some wrestling tights, and stepped in that ring, my goal was to be a winner. And then when I was a winner, Dave, my goal was to be a champion. And I want that belt bad, Dave. And everybody knows that he's coming in here to my backyard. He's coming into the Mid-South Coliseum. And wherever I go around the country, when I'm in Madison Square Garden and I'm standing there and they announce, from Memphis, Tennessee, to Sexy Brian Christopher, I'm standing there proud. I'm proud to be from Memphis, Tennessee. A lot of people all over the country, they knock the South. They knock Memphis. They think we're all a bunch of rednecks. Well, Rocky Maivia, when you get to the Mid-South Coliseum, I'm in the best shape I've ever been. I'm in the prime of my career, and I want your title. Now, I know we had an interview from The Rock, didn't we? But we can't play that, can we? Tell the people why we can't listen to what he had to say.
Well, he had a few words in there that we didn't want to put on television.
Some profanity, didn't he? Yeah. Now, is that any way for a champion to act? He sent an interview down here with a bunch of profanity. We got all kinds of kids watching this television program, you know. I started watching wrestling when I was about 6 years old. You got 6-year-old people, and you want to use profanity right there on TV. Well, Rock, you're not a champion. You're not somebody that the people can be proud of. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and when you get there, all these people in Memphis, they're proud of me. And I'm going to take your title. I'm going to take your title, and I'm going to make you the last thing you hear. The last thing you hear when I take your title there in Memphis, Tennessee, it's not going to be these rednecks cheering me on. It's going to be me laughing in your face, punk.
Too sexy, Brian.
Be there, baby. The Malice in the Palace.
I will be there. It's coming up July 21st at the Mid-South.
Did Brian just cut a promo like it was the match of his career coming up, or what?
Oh my gosh. Again, I hadn't seen it since for 24 years. Amazing. And here's Kid Wicked. Let's see the chemistry they have.
And insult all these people's intelligence and say that you're a part of Power Pro Wrestling when you know that your priority is the WWF and you can only make it here when it's convenient for you.
Well, no, that's not true.
Those are big words coming from such a small little man. Listen here, Tony Williams.
No, Kid Wicked.
No, I would call you Jabroni Williams is what I'm going to start calling you from now on, because that's what you're. You're a jabroni. Jabroni Tony. This was my interview time. And I've been here week in and week out. And what matters is I'm going to be here today, and I'm going to set foot in that ring. And it's going to be me versus you, Tony Williams. You got a problem with that? You think you ought to be the one getting the title shot, huh?
I ain't got a problem. The problem is I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to be the one to get that title shot.
Hey, come on, guys. Wait a minute. Hey, keep them apart. Yeah. We'll be back. We got a tag team action coming up here in just a moment.
So, we set that up right at the 4th of July show.
Yeah, with the interference with Kid Wicked, and it looks like we're coming right back. No commercials.
We got a big tag team match coming up here. Billy Joe Travis, Bulldog Reigns will be coming in, be going against
Show number 13, episode 13, July 11th, 1998.
Here's the music man with his guitar, Billy Joe Travis, and he's got Bulldog Reigns with him. This Reigns is a big guy, Dave.
He is big. He lumbers around the ring, but let me tell you, he's powerful. He was one of the last men standing in the Rumble on the River last week at Star Spangled Celebration. Hear that. Superstar is not far away. The Moondog is his partner today.
My favorite Dundee music.
On tour as well, coming up Wednesday night, Greenville, Mississippi. Here they are, and the Superstar, Bill Dundee and Moondog spot led by Commandment. Here we go. Moondog running wild as we kick things off.
Billy Travis, one of my favorites. We'll talk about him tomorrow. Born April 29th, 1961. He passed away November the 23rd, 2002, 41 years old.
Thursday night, Rock and Roll Express and many more at the Lady Luck Casino Thursday. Friday night, Osceola, Arkansas. Oh, look out, ref. And next Saturday night, a big spectacular in Jonesboro, the Rumble on the Rig.
Rumble on the Rig. Yeah, looking forward to that here.
That was a very successful show.
Getting bigger and better every week. When it's in your town,
yeah, the Rumble on the Rig.
Partnered with the JCs and the Jonesboro Radio Group. This is before a relationship with Kate Fine.
A sterling metal chair. It's really difficult to see the Moondog without some kind of foreign object. I mean, that's just almost a trademark Moondog type matches. Superstar Bill Dundee in there against Billy Joe Travis.
Travis tangles up with him, backs the Superstar out, nails him right in the midsection.
Moondog spot, Larry Booker, Larry Latham. He was born June 6, 1952 in Louisiana. He passed away in Memphis, Tennessee, November the 29th, 2003, at age 51 years old. A heart attack in the ring. Larry Latham, the Von Mama, also Moondog spot. He was billed as 6 foot, 375 pounds, and I don't think he was 375. Do you, Adam?
Ticket sales are great. I remind you, fans, if you want the good seats, the ringside.
No, close, but I don't know that he's quite that big.
And pick up your tickets as soon as you can get there.
Most definitely get by the Coliseum and all the Ticketmaster outlets. Randy's challenge to Jerry Lawler, Dave, I tell you. I know Lawler's in town. Randy's made, I think, a big mistake by challenging Lawler and trying to confront Jerry out here. I just don't know what Randy's thinking.
Well, I know. I think that whole thing may have started as somewhat of a misunderstanding that took very little time to get blown way out of proportion at first, and now it has really turned into a very serious situation.
Oh, yeah.
And, Lawler's in town, and I'm sure he's watching. So Randy challenged him, told him to come on down here, to be here, And he'd confronted Randy, said he was ready
Good
to take
match.
him on
Billy
physically.
Travis,
But he had
Bulldog
to, I hope
Rings,
he
Bill
rethinks
Dundee,
that.
Moondog
I hope he
Spot.
does too. Fans cheering, go Bill, go! And Bill's in there with the big bulldog. Comes off with a flying press. This could do it. He got it.
got it.
Yes, sirree.
Wow.
Dundee worked him up
That's
after that
Dundee's
small package. 1, 2, 3.
long
We've gotta
time
go. We'll
finish.
be back
Just
on the Power
real
Hour.
simple.
Stay with
Shoot
us.
the ropes, climb the rope, second rope, comes off with the crossbody, gets the win. 1, 2, 3. The Power Pro Show, Adam, on July the 11th, 1998.
The controversy.
And
It's
here
Power
is
Pro
another
Wrestling
great
Heat
spot.
of the summer. Tonight, July 11th. Be a part of the action when all the top stars invade Mount Pleasant, Mississippi at the W.H. Byers High School at 8 p.m. This Wednesday night, Power Pro Wrestling will return to Greenville, Mississippi. 8 p.m. is the bell time at the Hollywood Palace. Already signed to appear. The superstar Bill Dundee, the Birdman Coco Beware, the Young Guns, and more. Thursday night, Power Pro Wrestling invades the Lady Luck Casino in Lula, Mississippi at 8 p.m. You'll see the King, Jerry Lawler, the lovely Stacy, and the Lady Luck debut of the Rock and Roll Express. All this Thursday night in Lula. Next Saturday night, July 18th, the Jonesboro JCs and Power Pro Wrestling will present the Rumble on the Ridge at the Northeast Arkansas District Fairgrounds. Be on hand to see the King, Jerry Lawler, the superstar Bill Dundee, Billy Joe Travis, the Rock and Roll Express, Too Sexy Brian Christopher, and a host of others. The action gets
What a
underway at
spot.
8 p.m. in Jonesboro. Memphis, are you ready? Power Pro Wrestling presents the Malice in the Palace. Tuesday night, July 21st at the Mid-South Coliseum. The main event is the Battle of Kings when Jerry Lawler takes on the Giant King. The Rock, Rocky Maivia, ventures to Memphis to defend his Intercontinental title against Memphis' own Brian Christopher. Plus a one-night tag team tournament. That and much, much, much more will top off an all-star card Tuesday night, July 21st at the Mid-South Coliseum. Friday, July 24th, Power Pro takes center stage in
Wow.
Covington, Tennessee at the Sports Center. Win Arkansas, get ready. Power Pro returns Saturday night, July 25th at the National Guard. It's Power Pro Wrestling. It's the talk of the Mid-South.
Hey, Adam, can we pause that and come to us? All right. You know, I was going to wait to the end of this show to tell that story as I'm watching that, but we just had to come out because I have another funny story that I will tell in a minute. But just why don't you right now, as you saw that piece, that video James Estes put together, promoting the on tour and promoting the Malice in the Palace, just everything you saw there, it looked like a big time production for sure. So just I wanted you to talk just a minute about how important that production was. And neither one of us, just like the classic CWA and USWA, without Randy West, it wouldn't have been never near as good. Absolutely. It's a big part of it. James Estes, even though he worked with Channel 5, was my Randy West for sure. And things has changed in television productions, and it was fancier and you could do more. So just before I tell my funny story, and before we get back to that video, you're the production guy. So I wanted you to talk about everything that you saw in that probably minute spot.
So, keeping in mind 1998 and the type of spot that was produced there for the on tour, and keeping in mind with trying to make it a little different than how it was previously. Normally, you would have Corey or Dave or somebody run down the action coming up out of town. To be a one market wrestling promotion, I mean, look at the list that went on and on and on of everywhere that you guys were going to be. That is what a legitimate wrestling promotion looks like. I mean, you could have guys working multiple three, four, five, six, 7 nights a week, even on into the Power Pro days. And I think a lot of people forget that. They think, oh, that went away with USWA or territory days or whatever. The Memphis wrestling itself was, that hot and was going to that many areas. And at that time, in analog television, WMC television had a 150-mile radius of Midtown Memphis, or from the transmitter rather. that they broadcast to, and that would include all the way up to the boot heel of Missouri, all the way over into Arkansas, North Mississippi, all the way into almost central Tennessee. So to see that, again, just keeping in mind 1998 and just what was going on with wrestling at the time, for a local wrestling promotion to be that into the things that they were doing. And I think, hopefully, I'm not stealing your thunder here, but the story Randy may tell is, they did that show with the Rumble on the Ridge with one radio group, and it was so successful that another radio group reached out to them and started a partnership with them. So just a fantastic spot and a fantastic time in legitimate Memphis wrestling history. And I'll turn it back over to you, Randy.
So here's the story, and no, you didn't steal my thunder. So the Rumble on the Ridge, sponsored by the JCs at the old Fairgrounds Pavilion. That's not even there. The fairgrounds is not even there. It moved on the other side of town. It's long gone. But we had a packed crowd. And the main event of the night was Jerry Lawler against Billy Travis. Now, this was right in the middle of our deal, right in the middle of our deal. Remember, on air and at the towns, I was a heel at that point. As Brandon said, the idea was to make him certainly the lead manager, the top manager in the territory. Our deal, me and Lawler, just evolved, and it was the main story. And I was felt good when Brandon said it was the biggest story we ever did. And there's debate in that, but not much because that was very good. But I was also the booker, and I was also the promoter, and I was also the owner, and I was wearing a lot of hats. Well, there's a guy that lived in Jonesboro now, lives in Pocahontas, Arkansas, that believed everything he saw. For some reason or another, I didn't go to the ring that night. I was just in the back watching the matches, so I wasn't there. So this Roy Rogers, he's a guy that called into the radio station all the time, and he's a big fan, and he liked the baby faces and didn't like the heels. Well, we had a finish, and it was probably a finish that I just went to Lawler and say, "What do you want to do? We want you over." Blah blah blah. So it was a multi-layered finish, including a false finish. And this deadgum Roy Rogers, this guy from Pocahontas, Arkansas, this guy who always calls K-Fine still today and cuts promos and threatens me and has threatened to kill me and everything that comes with being a heel, he's done it to me. But he didn't like any of the heels, and he wasn't for Billy Travis. So here he comes and he's at ringside and he's all excited and he's cheering the king on, he's cheering him on, he's fired up, he's excited, and he's into the match. So they bumped the referee, and Lawler does a false finish on Billy. I don't know if it was a roll up, a schoolboy, I don't know if it's a pile driver, don't remember the details, but it was probably wasn't a pile driver because that wouldn't have been a false finish. Anyway, he did something where he had him beat. Was the referee was bumped. Now the person that rang the bell was just somebody with the JCs or somebody with the sponsors. Well, this goofy Roy Rogers, that's his name, Rogers, slid into the ring. I swear to God, Adam, he slid in the ring and goes 1, 2, 3, gave the signal, and the damn bell ringer rang the bell, and he freaking raised Lawler's hand, and the bell was rung, and the people had popped and
Oh my
went
God.
crazy. Oh yeah, and so I ran to the ring. I ran to the ring. I was cussing. I'll kill you, Roy Rod. I'll kill you, you son of a gun. And he rode out of the ring, and I chased him until I blew up. He went out the front door of that building. He went out the front door of the building and into the fairgrounds. And I probably maybe 3 city blocks, even though it was fields that wasn't city blocks, but that long, I would have killed him, Adam, if I would have ever got a hold of him. But uh, I chased him forever. So,
Wow.
hey, we're telling some stories never been told. We did it last week. We did it
Yeah.
today. So, what do you think about that story?
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine being there. I couldn't imagine being in your shoes with that happening. I think I would have ran after him too. That is wild.
So, you didn't know where this story was going, right?
No.
Hey, why don't you, real quick, since we're in a little break, update us on the comments?
All right. So far we've got Richard Hood said Memphis was a wrestling town, just in
Yay.
response to me earlier saying. And two, just keep in mind though, I mean there was Greenville, Mississippi, there was the casino, there was Jonesboro. Kind of my point in that also too is that yeah, Memphis was a wrestling town, but Power Pro took advantage of the TV5 viewing area. And like I said, I mean, you guys ran Kennett, Missouri. You guys ran Greenville, Blytheville, all those towns all over the place, all in different areas. So it was really a pretty cool deal. Al says, "What a story! Absolutely, what a story!" And now Panetta's putting you over. Panetta says, "I'm surprised that you couldn't catch him."
Well, and I was younger then. I was younger then. So I was born in 61. So what I'd have been what, 38?
Oh, see, 71, 81, 91. You've been in 2001, you would have been 40. So, yes, about 37, 38, somewhere in there.
So
Uh,
still by that point I wasn't in the peak of my condition and I've never been great. What is Ahmad saying? Or
let's
Richard
see.
saying?
Richard was asking how, kind of off topic, but definitely about wrestling. How long were the New Zealand sheep herders in Memphis?
They first came in about 82, had a big run there with Jonathan Boyd and Luke Williams, and then they came back later on in probably 84 as it was Rip Morgan and Jonathan Boyd, and then they came back. I would guess it was 85. It was Jonathan Boyd managing them. It was Butch Miller and Luke Williams. And you know who they ended up in the WWF, don't you?
The Bushwhackers.
The Bushwhackers. So you're right. It's off subject, but we'll answer any
Talk about it.
wrestling
Well, hey,
thing.
how
Anybody
about
new? Anybody else?
that's all we got so far? But we say we get back on subject and we pick back up with the Power Hour.
Let's go with it.
Coming up this Friday night, Rock and Roll Express, Rick and Robert, they're on their way to Power Pro Wrestling.
Brain student said Jonathan Boyd was a baby face with hair in Portland. I don't know if I knew that. I didn't like Jonathan Boyd. He was not a nice man. Who's Brandon Baxter? Coming out of being painted and embarrassed at 4th and the 4th.
Hey, yeah, fans are chanting red, white, and blue. Hey, yeah, that's great. Speaking of that, let's take a look back last week. Rumble on the River. Here it is. There it is right there, yeah. Red, white, and blue. How do you like that? Right up top of the head of Brendan Baxter. Corey, I guess you think that's funny, right? I love it. And I bet Dave thinks it's funny, too. And I bet you people here in the studio audience think that's real funny, right? You asked. Well, go ahead and laugh at Brandon Baxter all you want to laugh. You see, there's an old saying. And old sayings don't become old sayings unless they're true. It goes something like this. He who laughs last, laughs the loudest and the longest. And the female fantasy Brandon Baxter will get the last laugh. You see, I came out here the last few weeks. I told you
So I thought my promo was strong, Brian's promo was strong, and this promo strong, Adam.
Hey, come on, Brandon. And I told you this country sucks.
No, the momentum has not stopped. And as a matter of fact, we are advancing everything coming off the heels, probably with the anticipation of even more eyeballs on it than previous weeks because of the prime time the week before.
That means that I don't have 100% American blood in these veins. I have a Japanese heritage, and I am very proud of that. No longer do I want to be associated with America. From now on, I want to support my Japanese heritage. You see, all the other countries across the world hate the United States. They despise the United States for a couple reasons. Number one, because the United States is full of nothing but liars and cheaters.
All right, hey.
and drug addicts.
Brandon, we're going to get ready to wrap this interview up here. That's what I'm going to do.
The last thing I have to say, I have a man from another country here today who is forming the first part of an awesome stable that I have put together. I've gone all the way across the world to get him. From Munich, Germany, he is big, he is bad, he's a great wrestler, and he is smart. Here he is, Heinrich Franz Keller.
Boy named Ray Keller, a trainee of Bill Superstar Dundee.
Germany is the latest addition to the stable of Brandon Baxter. Heinrich Franz Keller and Power Pro.
I want these people to keep their mouths
Paul
shut.
Wheeler says
and
Jimmy
listen
Hart
to
was the
this
greatest to
man.
get in heat, but I'll be damned if I don't think Brandon was just as good. Brandon was good, real good.
Und ich komme aus Deutschland. Und Deutschland ist über alles. Now I will translate for you stupid Americans. I say, my name is Heinrich Franz Keller. And I come from Germany. And Germany is over everything. How many of you people have Chrysler Automobile? Well, this week, Chrysler was bought out by famous German automaker Daimler-Benz. And I am here to take over Power Pro Wrestling, just like Chrysler was taken over by Daimler-Benz. You had all better learn to speak German because your bosses, your employers, your leaders will be German.
Well, we'll see. Just take it to the ring, Baxter. Get this guy.
You're going to see what a real athlete and a man with intelligence can do in Power Pro Wrestling right now.
Heinz Franz Keller, the new addition to the stable of Brandon Baxter.
Well, being associated with Brandon Baxter tells me something right there. Better watch out for this guy.
Oh, yeah.
This Heinrich Franz Keller.
Wrestles in out of Munich, Germany. A little over 260 pounds is this Franz Keller. And, boy, he's pounding away on Swole right in the middle of the ring. His opponent.
Certainly a big, impressive guy. Unfortunately, I don't believe he's still with us anymore.
No, he's not.
Way too young. We'd love to have him here, wouldn't we?
Sure would, and we give the address for the tickets a couple of times during the show. And during the week, you can often see it on TV5, too. Just keep a pencil, piece of paper near the TV, write it down. Tickets are free to Power Pro Wrestling here at our studios, but you must include a self-addressed stamped envelope, and the tickets will be mailed back to you. Love to have you here.
Oh, yeah. Heinrich
Look out, here's
Franz
Baxter.
Keller.
Have you ever seen an athlete more impressive than this face around Corey Macklin? Have you ever seen an athlete this impressive?
The Autobahn Slam.
Yes, but he is impressive. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
That's it. The Autobahn Slam right here.
The big German walks around with Swole and pounds him in the mat. 1, 2, and that's 3.
The Autobahn Slam, he calls it. Well, that's it. Heinrich Franz Keller's debut is one of a victory here on Power Pro Wrestling.
Yep, and an impressive victory, no doubt about it. Still to
Live
come,
on the radio's Facebook, the Power Pro
Christopher
Facebook, the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame Facebook, at RB Hales on Twitter, and hopefully I hadn't heard from Al in a while. Hopefully we're still live on the Classic Championship Memphis, Classic Memphis YouTube page. Hope we're still live.
And now this great athlete that he's brought in attacks downtown Bruno.
Oh, and he lays the German flag on Bruno. Take a break. We'll be back.
Yeah.
I remember Miles Young as well. Good point, Greg.
Yeah, later on in Power Pro, he became Miles Long. I remember that too.
Yeah, superstar Bill Dundee and Samantha are here. Hey, we've just been handed a note. Power Pro Wrestling is going to be in Kennett, Missouri, July 31st at the American Legion there.
We're still on YouTube.
Friday night, I'm going to be in Corinth with Sammy, and then Joe's going to Saturday night. Oh, yeah.
Power Pro Wrestling
Here's
all
one of
over
my
the place.
favorite wrestlers right here, Lance Jay.
Lance Jay.
Right here.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, they do. He's going to be in Corinth, too. You going to be there, too? Yeah, all right. We got it all going. Now.
Lance Jade, part of the Young Gun stable. His opponent coming in here.
That's why I'm at here today.
You're here because of the
I
opponent.
am.
I guess you want to talk a little bit about the
They got the music backwards. They played Coco's music first and played Lance's music now.
Palace in the Palace. They've already signed that, and that's Coco and me, and everybody knows what the
Live
word
television.
means. Vicious and nasty, and that's
Oh, yeah.
exactly what's going to happen.
Man,
How
I
about
bet
those Power Pro T-shirts, Randy? I hear you're working on some new designs.
Yeah, we are. As we talk to my man Scott's Art, we're working for that.
in the Palace, brother. You wish I wasn't there.
The Birdman, Coco.
Come on, Lance, you can whoop him.
Taking on Lance Jade. Still got a big main event coming up. Kid Wicked and Too Sexy Brian Christopher still to go.
Yeah, the former tag team partners going at each other. Kid Wicked very jealous about Brian Christopher's Intercontinental title shot at the Malice in the Palace.
You know what the good thing about tag teams when they fight one another, when they break up, everybody always thought they were the best of that, so I just like to see who wins this today. Come on. Referee, pulling his head. Yeah, there you go. That's a knock his block off. See, Cope was a very fine athlete. He doesn't need to be doing that. You can wrestle better than that.
So we saw Billy Travis, Bulldog Reigns against Bill Dundee and the Moondog, and we're seeing Lance Jade against Coco Ware, and we saw Heinrich von Keller in action.
From the booth, Jerry Lawler is at the front door. Our doors are locked.
Oh, Randy Hales, you're going to get it now.
We're working on it. We're working on it, Panetta. New shirt, working on it.
I'm confused.
Scott's Art,
Earlier,
watching the show tonight, I
35
hope.
minutes ago, Randy Hales was out here challenging Jerry to come down here.
Right there.
And now he's got him locked out. And Lawler is here, but
Don't
can't
you
get
worry
in.
about me.
Yeah, I'm
Come on, Lance, get up there.
He asked Lawler to come down and challenged him and dared him almost to come to show up here today. He wanted to confront him. Now Lawler's here somewhere out near the studios at the front door.
He was at the front door, yeah, which is locked, and they've told him not to let him in. So.
Who told him? I bet it was Randy Hales.
Yeah, it was Randy, yeah.
Oh, there's Coco Ware. Oh, my goodness.
Referee's hanging onto the rope.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, just like you, Birdman.
Big squat from Coco. He gets right on Lance Jade. 1, 2, 3.
Hill cheats to win. Imagine that, Adam. And then he scoots, doesn't stay around, and gets out of there quick.
Yeah, I imagine we may have been a little heavy on time. It seems like we kind of got in and out of that segment pretty quick and setting up for Lawler coming in.
Got in and out of it. So the total chaos that will take place at the conclusion of this show. So hopefully we're gaining new viewers. As we show this commercial, we'll remind you, and you can put up the slide. Talking Memphis Wrestling. I'll be joined by Pat Trammell. I will join by Chris Ellis and Michael St. John. It's Talking Memphis Wrestling. You see there, it'll be 7 o'clock Central. It'll be tomorrow night. Gone, but not forgotten. A big, big show coming up tomorrow night. Man, Adam does. I'm putting over James Estes. I put over Randy West. I'm not even putting over Adam, but I certainly will look at the great stuff he's done to make this show look great. As you see, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on the Classic Memphis Wrestling YouTube page, on Facebook, the Randy House page, the Powerful page, and also the Hall of Fame page.
Rumble on the Ridge at the Craig County Fairgrounds, 8 p.m. We're going to have Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee coming out. It'll be great.
Coming in. Look forward to it. Thanks a lot for everything. Thank you for everything. Steve Gold with the JCs, Dave.
And
That felt like, all right, we promise you, be on TV. You're on TV. Have some.
Supposed to be in the ring right now.
We'll give you 10 seconds.
Right? TV time's value.
Get in the ring.
I think you hit it. We're screwed on time at this point. And we certainly want to get the main deal of the show.
On Power Pro Wrestling and the Power Hour. Hear the music.
Yeah, Kid Wicked has already said he's not happy about Christopher having the Intercontinental Championship shot coming up at Malice in the Palace in the Coliseum. But he can talk all he wants to. That match has been signed, and it's going to happen. And
Again,
today, the
Kid
match,
Wicked
is you
came out and did commentary at the Rumble on the River. Then he got involved, tried to screw Brian out of the match. It backfired. And now they have a match on this TV, and here's Kid Wicked right now.
This match, if I beat you in this match, then the championship committee has no choice but to give me that title shot. Am I correct?
No, you're not correct.
No, that's not official at all.
No.
Let's get in the ring and let's get the match on with your kid Wicket.
Yeah, there's
Crying out loud. Look at this. Grabs the legs of Brian Christopher. Referee calls for the bell. And out on the floor they started. Kid Wicket jumps on Brian Christopher. Oh, my goodness. Nav suplexes.
Where's the pads, Adam?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I mean, you see that? They don't do anything like that nowadays. I mean, that is on the studio floor. That's just a tile floor on top of concrete.
He was at the front door, and they ordered him not let in the building. Randy had. Well, wait a minute. Now they're telling me that the security camera at one of our doors is picking him up. Can we see that?
Can we see what's happening outside?
This is the show on art. Here's Stacy.
Looks like Stacy's with him.
He's at the parking lot door there, which is, I mean, all the doors in the building are locked and secured.
Yeah.
And Randy Hales has said don't let him in. So there's Lawler out at the security door. Meanwhile, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
The match continues here. And, you know, Kid Wicket in here, he's
Like
trying
it
to
hurt.
weasel his way in if he can to a championship match. There's a lot more than just the
We
championship.
didn't have as much time that I think that I originally had it for. But this has been a fast-paced show and a good match. Hey, it's about connecting people's emotions. It's about getting people interested. It's about telling stories, not necessarily having, I sound like an old timer, having ballet or having gymnastic routines and having 6 or 7 star matches from Dave Meltz. This is a hell of a match, but the match was the backdrop for telling the stories.
Well, this again is just how much of a role live television played in Memphis wrestling history.
Right now, he's now taking control of the match. His former partner, Kid Wicket, now has the chain from around his neck wrapped around his right fist, though, and he nailed Brian in the midsection with it.
Yep, sure did. Took his chain right off the neck, and now he's got Brian.
You know, everything looks solid. Everything looks believable. Kid Wicket regret not doing more with him later on. He moved. That's what happened.
For that and just, you know, for all the pluses of being a developmental territory, there came the negatives as well. Oh, that didn't go well.
No, that was bad.
Trying to do there, but it sure didn't work. He ended up
The crowd just doubled over
the concrete floor.
What in the world?
In that top rope, Dave. Now Brian.
See how Brian took quick advantage of it there? It's almost like he saw the opportunity and he took advantage of it. They didn't stare at each other and not know what to do because they had rehearsed it down to every little step, and now they're lost. You know, Brian saw what happened, took the advantage, and hell, you know, 10 seconds later, you can get him.
Christopher whips him into the rope. Oh, boy, they're both out.
You know, Frank says it was a botch, but in no way did that expose the business. It was an athletic competition that we were airing on the TV, and stuff goes wrong. Right, Adam? And so I didn't think that exposed anything.
Again, live TV, let's say the heel screws up or whatever, so now he's going to go back to his old heel tactics, but hey, Brian's ready for him and has a chain of his own.
Nails him. He had a chain himself. 1, 2, 3.
Didn't expose the business, didn't screw up the finish. Fans aren't laughing at it anymore. Yeah, they laugh when it happened, but you laugh at a heel anyway.
I think Tony could have sewed that chain a little better. He was up awful quick. I'm sure I said that. I'm sure I said that when he got back.
He said, you do what it takes to win. That's the attitude he's going into the Madison Coliseum. Here's Jerry Lawler is in here. My goodness, what happened to you two?
What are you all? I want to know. I don't care what happened to us. I want to know, where is that stupid giant and
where's Randy Hales?
I haven't seen the Giant since last week.
Well, I saw the Giant just a few minutes ago, and I know he's here, and I know Randy Hales is here. Where are they?
I haven't heard from Randy Hales. He hasn't been talking in my ear the last 15 or 20 minutes. I don't know where he is.
You go that way. I'm going this way. Find Randy Hales. Come on.
Let's take a quick break and let's get this.
Didn't take long to build that intrigue and set that up, did it?
No. Good stuff. Power Pro Wrestling Show number 13, July the 11th, 1998. The Road to Malice in the Palace.
There right now. That's where Jerry is. There's one of our producers, George.
Hey, look, I know that Randy Hales sits up here every stinking show. Now, where is he, Dave? Look, get out of my way. You understand that? I know where he is.
Come on.
Get him up.
He just pot-faced George there, didn't he?
There's James
He's
Estes.
our director, James, and Lawler's on. That's where Randy usually is, but as I said, Randy had been talking to us.
I haven't heard
so I don't know where Randy is, but Lawler is looking for him. And what happened to him and to Stacy?
That's what I'm wondering. They look like I don't know what's happened. They're all dirty and filthy looking and all.
Clothes are torn. Lawler's shirt's about half ripped off, and that's a Cleveland Indians shirt. So he takes care of that. What?
Where is Randy Hales?
I don't know. If I knew, I'd tell you. I don't know where Randy is.
You know, and I know Randy Hales. You're here somewhere, and you know what's going on. You know the little setup and the little stunt you pull. Yeah, he emails me. He faxes me all week long and says that I got to be here this morning on TV. I got a big match. Right, yeah. Okay, well, what happens is when I get out of my house at Walnut Grove and get out in my driveway, there's a 7'4" tall idiot standing blocking my way. Now, I get out, and this is what happens right here. Now, Randy Hales, let me tell you something. Yeah, I'm bleeding, but so is your stinking Giant. Next time you see him, you're going to see some blood on his head. And I want to know where you are because I'm going to put some blood on your head. Like I said before, there's only one king, and you're looking at him, Randy Hales, so you might as well get used to it. Everybody else has gotten used to it. You better get used to it. If you don't, all you're going to do is you're going to get hurt. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then get him down here right now. Get him out here.
Look, I understand you're upset. Boy, I'd be upset, too, if this happened.
No, you wouldn't be upset like I'm upset, Dave.
I don't know where he is. He was here earlier. He was out here for a live interview. He would talk to us. They give us cues in our ear. We've got an earpiece.
Randy Hales,
I haven't heard from him in 10
come
minutes
on, big
or so.
shot. Get your Giant. Get your 7'4" tall Giant with that squash crown on his head and bring him out here. Come on. Let's do it right here in front of the world where everybody can see it. Get him out here. Where is he, Dave?
Like I say, I haven't. The Giant. If the Giant has been here today, we haven't seen him. I haven't seen him since last week at the Rumble.
The last time I saw him, he was jumping in a station wagon and hauling butt down Walnut Grove towards this TV station. So where is he? And where is Randy?
Wait, something going on in the parking lot. Is that Stacy? That's Randy's car that she's in front of there.
This is not going to turn out good, Adam.
Lawler's headed in that direction.
No, I think that New Yorker's not going to make it out of there in one piece.
The door is obviously locked. Randy is not about to let him in there. Lawler. Whoa!
Oh, my goodness. Randy, I see him in the front seat there.
Lawler breaking the windshield trying to get through there. Now security trying to get things squared away.
Yeah, he busted a hole in it.
Has pulled away.
You know how hard it is to drive without a windshield?
Lawler yelling at him, come back, and waving the baseball bat. He blasted.
Look how humid it is outside. The cameras go from the station outside. They're all fogged up.
Stacy was blocking the way. She apparently found her. Lawler had said, you go this way, I'll go that way. She apparently saw Randy in the parking lot, headed for the parking lot. Here comes Lawler and Stacy back into the building. A very upset Jerry Lawler says he was jumped by the Giant as he was trying to leave his house to come here today.
I love that transition where you follow him walking in. Makes it so cool.
Randy Hales, you may not be able to hear me right now, and you for sure can't be able to see where you're driving, but I want to give you a little clue, pal. Your car just got a little sample of what's going to happen to you and your stinking Giant if you keep messing with me. Do you understand that? Tell it to him, Dave.
Well, I understand, and I guarantee you we will show him a copy of that videotape. There's no doubt about it. Well, he doesn't really need to see a videotape. He was sitting in the car when the baseball bat is smashing into his windshield there, and he's got to know just how upset the King is after something like
Funny
that.
comment
If
from
he didn't
Al.
know before, I can't believe this has gotten to this point.
I tell you, I felt it.
I think I'd have to agree.
This thing has just gone way, way too far.
It has indeed, and the Giant King, I promise you fans, we haven't seen him. I haven't seen him since the Rumble on the River last Saturday. Lawler says it was him that jumped him in. He couldn't be mistaken. Who else is that big?
Got that right. I hadn't seen anyone that big, I don't think, ever in my life.
But apparently he attacked Jerry and Stacy as they were leaving to come down here earlier today, told by Randy Hales that he had to be at the television station. Well, he was here. He brought the baseball bat with him. Randy is left. Randy is gone.
I don't know what we can talk to Randy or what here. He's got that raining outside here in Mississippi.
I'm going to be trying to get Randy on the phone as soon as we leave here today and talk to him about it. Somebody's got to talk some sense into both of them. I don't know if it can be done or not. We'll find out.
Maybe you should try that. I've tried it once.
I'll try in just a few minutes. We hope you'll be back with us right here next week for the Power Hour. Till then, for Corey Macklin, I'm Dave Brown. So long, everybody.
July 4th show was dynamic. We come back with it, followed it up, back in the studio, did it again, finished the show with Randy Hill's windshield of that New Yorker getting destroyed. Adam, how do we follow this show next week? How about letting everybody know?
Okay, yeah. I mean, how do you with? I mean, you thought Rumble on the River was good, and then a hell of a show to follow up Rumble on the River. But July 18th, 1998 will be our show number 14 next week. We'll start things off with taking a look at what just happened. We'll see the damage done to Randy's car. We'll see Kid Wicked and Derek King going against Bill Superstar Dundee and Robert Gibson. How about that? Robert Gibson making his debut next week. We'll see Lawler out in a wheelchair to see kind of maybe what happened to Lawler during the week that have him in a wheelchair. We'll see Billy Travis and Bulldog Reigns going against Lance Jade and Ashley Hudson. The Yellow Jacket takes on Heinrich Franz Keller with Brandon Baxter. We'll see Streak in action. Dundee and Samantha have an interview which sees Coco Ware come out and attack them. We'll see Brian Christopher plus Rocky Maivia. We'll have a promo from The Rock that we can actually show next week. We'll see Brian take on the Birdman, Coco Beware. And then at the end of the show, we see Randy get chased down Union Avenue by the King. So some big stuff coming up next week, Randy. I don't think we are far from over with the saga of the King and Randy Hales.
A lot of stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Really excited about it. Really excited about this show today. Want to remind everybody tomorrow night, Talking Memphis Wrestling with Pat Trammell, Michael St. John, and Chris Ellis. And we will talk the subject gone but not forgotten. And tomorrow on the show, we will talk about Billy Joe Travis, Brian Christopher, Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert, Lance Russell, Jackie Fargo, Tojo Yamamoto, and Eddie Marlin. And we have some great matches and great segments to show video-wise. We have Jerry Lawler, the great Luthez, and Sam Bass against Eddie Marlin, Tommy Gilbert, and Ricky Gibson, the brother of Robert Gibson of the Rock and Roll Express. We will see the fabulous Fargos, Jackie and Roughhouse against Larry Latham and Wayne Ferris, Friday match. Then Tojo telling a story where a rib was played on him. That's a funny story we will take a look at. Also, another rib when Lance and Jerry Lawler ribbed the doctor in Evansville, Indiana. And a wild and woolly action, Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert, former tag team partners, going at it in one of the most wild, vicious things we've ever seen. That will be tomorrow night, and that will be at 7 o'clock. I want to remind everybody, Wednesday morning, 953theticket.com, 953theticket.com at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, Bud Chappelle, and it is Front Row with Bud Rowe. Great wrestling talk. The Power Hour comes to Jonesboro Radio, but worldwide. You can listen to it at www.953 theticket.com, and eventually, and we have some captions, all that good stuff. Maybe we can have that for you eventually. Also, want everybody to know that, and it's very important. I want to hear what you think. If you have suggestions, comments, email me at Randy Benton Hales, or I believe that's it, Randy Benton Hales at gmail.com. Randy Benton Hales at gmail.com. Guys, we made this show pretty, made this show beautiful, and there's expense to this show. There's production expense, tape expense, streaming service expense, all that sort of thing. If anybody would like to help out the cause, you can go to my Cash App, $ Randy Hales 1961. You can also go to my PayPal, and the PayPal is linked to the page on my personal Facebook and my personal Twitter. So that's all the plugs right there for sure. Remember coming up, I mentioned, and if you would put Hank and if you would put Hercules back on the screen, these are my roommates. That is a beautiful sight. Those two beautiful Great Danes, Hercules and Hank, and they have TikTok videos. I told Adam earlier, they've had a TikTok video that got 23 million views. I'm supposed to be the celebrity in the family, and the daggum dogs have more numbers than I've ever thought about having. It's amazing. They are doing a fundraiser, and you can check that on my book, the fundraiser they're doing in conjunction with the Northeast Arkansas Humane Society. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, we're all over the place for sure. Final words, Adam? And did I forget anything?
No, I think we are good to go. Just look forward to seeing everybody back next week. Al says that the 953 The Ticket Show is the fastest hour in sports talk radio. And he also says, Randy, you've got some good looking dogs roommating there with you. So help out on that. Go to Randy's Facebook page and help them out along with the Humane Society there for some good stuff. So we appreciate you being here, and we'll be back tomorrow night as well.
You never know, Adam. You never know. Hank and Hercules are not home right now. I believe they're in Little Rock, but you never know. Who knows? They may do a run-in tomorrow night. You think?
They certainly could.
Looking forward to it. For Adam Dunn, can't do it without you, Adam. I appreciate everything you do. I can't do it without the viewers, because if you guys didn't listen, didn't watch, then there would be no shows. And I would just ask everybody to be sure to help us promote it. And you can do that big time. Just retweet and share and all the stuff you do, because it is our mission for this to be the very best Memphis Wrestling podcast, videocast, talk show, whatever you want to call it. We want to be the best there is at it, and we want to keep the legacy of Memphis Wrestling alive. For Adam Dunn, I'm Randy Hales. Bye-bye, everybody.
Power Pro Wrestling. Power Pro Wrestling.